Number 51, this is a statistics and probability question. We're working with combinations. Get a Great Read Books is adding a new phone line. The phone company says that the first 3 digits of the phone number must be 555, but the remaining 4 digits, where each digit is a digit from 0 through 9, can be chosen by Get a Great Read Books. How many phone numbers are possible? The first 3 numbers are determined. They will not affect our outcome. Thus, A, B, and C, with these 5s in the answer choices, will not be the right answer. The last 4 digits can be any of 10 different numbers, 0 through 9. So remember that this is not 9 different numbers, it's 10 different numbers. So we have 10 possibilities for each of these last 4 digits. We're going to multiply across and get 10 to the 4th. So the answer here is E. Number 52. This is a geometry question, and it's coordinate geometry. In the standard XY coordinate plane, the circle centered at 1, 3 that passes through 4, 7 is the set of all points that are. So here we have to look at each answer choice, and we're going to do process of elimination. I've drawn out what the circle would look like. The center is at 1, 3, and 4, 7 is a point on this circle. Now, is this pink circle here the set of all points that are 5 coordinate units from 1, 3? Yes, we can quickly get the length of that radius by drawing this triangle, this right triangle. We know that the length here is 4 because 7 minus 3 is 4. We know that the length here is 3 because 4 minus 1 is 3. So we know that this is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. The radius is 5. So is this circle the set of all points that are 5 coordinate units from 1, 3? 1, 3 being the center? Yes, because every radius that we draw will be 5 coordinate units away from the center 1, 3. This is our answer. Now we can also quickly look at the other answers to see that they are not correct. 5 coordinate units from 1, 3 and 4, 7. All points on this circle are not 5 coordinate units away from 4, 7. Some are closer, some are further away. For instance, this point would be very far away, much more than 5 coordinate units. H, 5 coordinate units from the line segment with endpoints 1, 3, 4, 7. We are talking specifically about this line segment. Many points on the circle will be more than or less than 5 units away from this line segment. For instance, that point is less than 5. J, equidistant from 1, 3 and 4, 7. Again, some points on this circle will be equidistant from those two, but some won't be. Some will be closer to 4, 7, others will be closer to 1, 3. K, equidistant from the line segment with endpoints 1, 3 and 4, 7. Again, we're talking about this line segment. Are all of these points equidistant from this line segment? No. So the answer is F. Number 53 is a function question. We are working with logarithms. Which of the following values is the x-coordinate of the point in the standard xy coordinate plane where the graph of the line y equals 7 intersects the graph of the function y equals the natural log of the quantity x minus 2 plus 3? To solve this without graphing, what we want to do is set these two equations equal to each other because we are trying to find where they intersect. We have y equals 7 and y equals the natural log of x minus 2 plus 3. I will set them equal to each other. 7 equals the natural log of x minus 2 plus 3. Bring the 3 to the other side, and I get 4 equals the natural log of x minus 2. What we want to remember is that there is a base of e right here. Another thing that we want to remember is that natural log is the same thing as log, except the base is e and not b. And we want to look at the logarithmic form and how to change it to exponential form, which is written here. What you'll notice is that what we have written is in logarithmic form. Our e corresponds to the b here, and the x minus 2 corresponds to the y. The 4 corresponds to the x. So how can we change that to exponential form? The x minus 2 will go on the left-hand side. The e will become the base, and the 4 will become its exponent. So notice what's happening. The x minus 2 goes to the left-hand side. The e becomes the base. The 4 is the exponent. This might be a little confusing, so you might want to just pause the video and look at what's happening to make sense of it. Once we have this equation, all we need to do is isolate the x by bringing the 2 onto the other side. X equals e to the 4 plus 2, which is answer choice B. We can also solve these problems by graphing the two equations, looking at where they intersect, and then comparing those numbers with each of these answer choices. Now, the first thing we have to do is figure out what these answer choices actually equal in terms of number. Let's start with e to the 4th plus 2. We'll use second ln e to the 4th plus 2. And that is 56.598 for e. I'm going to have to put 1 here, e to the 1 plus 2 is 12.87. The natural log of 4 plus 2 is 3.386. And the natural log of 5 plus 3 is 4.6. Now that we found these values, we can use our calculator to graph y equals ln of the quantity x minus 2 plus 3 and y equals 7. We want to then look at their intersection, and whatever that number is, it's going to be one of these 5 numbers. That will be our answer. This is the natural log of the quantity x minus 2 plus 3. We're going to hit graph, and we get that function. And we'll also graph, we'll go back to y equals, and we'll go down to the next line, and we'll graph y equals 7. So we see that at this point with the window, the way that it is, they're not touching. We want to go more to the right so that we can see where they're going to intersect. So I'm going to go to the window, and I'm going to change these values. So x min, I'll just make that 0. X max, I'll make that around 60. Y min, I'll make that 0 as well. And Y max, 10 is fine. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, so we see that they do cross towards that end. You know what? I'll make this window into X max, let's say 80. So we see clearly where they are intersecting. I'm going to go to calculate, so second trace. And I'm going to calculate the intersect, where they are intersecting. And it's asking me for the first curve, which is the blue one, and the second curve, which is the red one. And I press enter again, and we see that the intersection is at 56.598. So 56.598, and y equals 7. So we know from our previous calculations that the answer is going to be B, because e to the 4th plus 2 is 56.598. Number 54 is an integrating essential skills question. We're dealing with graphs of functions. 3 copy machines A, B, and C copy at the same rate and will all be used to make copies of a report. At 8 a.m., all 3 machines begin copying. Machine A breaks down at 10 a.m. and is back in service at 1 p.m. Machine B breaks down at 12 p.m. and begins copying again at 3 p.m. All 3 machines finish copying at 5 p.m. when the copying of the report is complete. One of the following graphs shows n, the number of copies made, as a function of t, the time at any given point during the copying. Which graph is it? So if we look at copy machines A, B, and C, these dashes mark the times when they are working. So initially they are all working from 8 to 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, A goes out of service, and at 12 o'clock, B goes out of service. So there's times when only 2 machines are working or when only 1 machine is working. What would that look like in a graph? Well, initially, there'll be a certain constant rate. That increasing rate will actually start to flatten out a little bit as A breaks down, and it'll flatten out even more when B breaks down and C is the only machine that's working. But then at 1 o'clock, you'll start increasing it again because A comes back into service. And then at 3 o'clock, all machines are up and running again, which will increase that slope even more. So we're looking for a graph that looks like that. J is not your answer because that is a step equation. K is constant throughout. That is not your answer either. The answer is between F, G, and H. Let's look at some of their differences. If we look at F starts out pretty strong, whereas you look at G is flat and then it gets steeper. That's not the direction that we want. G is not our answer. Same thing with H. It starts out flat and then it gets a little bit steeper. That is the opposite of what we're looking for. Whereas with F, it starts out steep, it gets a little bit flatter, and then eventually it starts getting steeper and even steeper than that. Answer choice F is the right answer. Number 55 is a functions question. We are evaluating functions. A sporting goods store sells baseball caps for $22 each. At this price, 40 caps are sold per week. For every $1 decrease in price, the store will sell 4 more caps per week. The store will adjust the price to maximize revenue. What will be the maximum possible revenue for 1 week? Note the revenue equals the number of caps sold times the price per cap. What we want to do is figure out a pattern. We know that there is a price and there is a certain quantity that you're going to sell at that price. Here, $22 cap means that 40 of them are going to be sold that week. If we decrease that price to 21, 4 more caps will be sold, so 44 caps. If we decrease that to 20, it'll be 48, 19, and 52, and so on. Since revenue equals the number of caps, which is Q, times the price per cap, all we have to do is multiply across to get the revenue. 22 times 40 is 880. The next one is 924. The next one is 960. The next one is 988. Just from these 4 values, we can eliminate some answer choices. We know that up to now, 988 is our highest revenue. That means A, B, C, and D are not the right answer. The only answer choice that's left is 1024. Notice that isn't the answer that we got, but since 19 times 52 is 988, some other number, maybe it'll be 17 or 16, when we have it at that price point, that will give us this maximum of 1024.